Hello and welcome to Drum Secrets Episode 1. In this series, I'll probably be referencing this book quite a bit. I recommend this book, The Breakbeat Bible by Mike Adamo. And, excuse me, for the most part, this is a very good reference for breakbeats, which, in case you're unfamiliar, before there were stem splitters like we have now in Logic, but when there were two turntables, people would scour their records to find a section of the song where it's only the drums. That's what we mean by a drum break, where all the other instruments stop playing. And then that became the basis of hip hop, where really it started with DJing, where they'd get two copies of the same record and find that break and play it on the left side and then play it on the right side and then rewind the left side while the right side's playing and then rewind the right side while the left side's playing, and you have to switch it back and forth to create what we now would call a loop, which is much easier to do now that we have digital audio workstations like Logic. And now, like I mentioned, we have the stem splitter, which, in case you're unfamiliar, allows you to take a song, like this is We've Got the Jazz, A Tribe Called Quest. So here's the original song here. The hardest part is importing it into Logic. Why is it so quiet? Oh yeah, I turned it down. And then if you stem split it, you can isolate the parts, like the drums. So what that allows you to do is not have to search for the break sections. You can take any section and isolate just the drum. So they would take just the drum break, loop it, and then make a new song on top of that. It could be new chords, new bass line, and primarily it was used as a vehicle for MCs to rap on top of. Sorry, my voice is messed up. I'm getting over a cold, so bear with me. I'm still congested. I had a bad cold last week, and it's mostly better, but not completely. Today I'm going to be talking about the song Amen Brother, or it could be Amen Brother, depending on which church you're in. The churches I grew up in, I heard it both ways, but I think it was mostly Amen in Seventh-day Adventist and Lutheran churches that I went to. And at the Namaste Interfaith Center, I heard it both ways. But I think in Black Baptist churches, you're more likely to hear Amen, brother. But either way, it refers to the plagal cadence, which is 4-1. Amen. That would be, let me turn my keyboard on. With the often La, So, or that's not right. Fa, Mi, or La, So is what I meant to say. Like this. So, I was singing in a different key, but when you get to the end of a song and you have a long Do melody note, like let's say you're in the key of C and the song ends on the note C, the melody, instead of just a 1 chord, you might have a 4 chord, then to a 1 chord, and the inner parts, or sometimes the upper parts, but if the root's on top, the inner parts might be La, So, Fa, Mi, and sometimes that could be over a pedaled 1, bass line can move from 4 to 1 as well. So that's the plagal cadence, or often referred to as the amen chords. And that's how this song starts. Wait, let me solo. This is the original track here, the blue thing on top here. Oh, now it's too loud. So the top horn is playing fa mi, do, 4-1. That's the amen chord, or the plagal cadence. Although the A section of the song, the beginning of the song, is not that. Or actually, there is a little bit of that. It happens quickly, but if you listen to this A section of the song, hold on, I have everything going at once. Here. Actually, I may as well go ahead and isolate the bass, since I do have the stem. See, these are the stems that I split. Now, I recommend you do what I do, which is to copy the original audio before you do the stem split. Just in case sometimes it gets messed up, or Logic has been improving the stem splitter over time. So if they do an update and the stem splitter improves, you can just delete this, delete that, copy it again, and split it again, and you might get some better results. So that's the main reason you see two here. Here's the original, here's the copy, and then this is the stem split from the copy. So here's the bass line of the A section. So that's Roman numeral 1 to Roman numeral 5. But if you listen to, let's say, I think the guitar part on top of that. Yeah, see, he's still playing on the primarily Roman numeral 1 chord. He's going 4 4 4 1. He's going 4 1. Sorry, it's in the key of E flat. No, what is it? Sorry, D flat. So he's going. That's the plagal cadence quickly. And in this case, the bass is staying on the root of the 1 chord. Well, not staying on the root, but emphasizing the root of the 1 chord. But then it goes to 5 after that. Yeah. But the most famous part of this song is the break, the drum break that you'll see in the Breakbeat Bible. That I have a copy of here. And again, I recommend buying this book. So I'm not trying to do copyright infringement. I'm trying to encourage you to buy this book. So hopefully this qualifies as fair use. To show you, this is the famous drum break that's the most sampled drum break ever. It's been in hundreds, maybe thousands of songs. Spawned hip hop. My eyes are getting bad. Jungle, drum and bass, hip hop. Thought it would say maybe dubstep. I guess dubstep was post Breakbeat Bible. So here's the break. No, that's not the break. Here's the break. All right, drums. Okay, that's the break. Now, here I've made a 8-bar loop of the A section, not the break, the A section. But the drum beat is similar. Although the tempo here is slightly slower. The song speeds up as it goes, especially at the drum break. It kicks up a notch. From about, this is a 124.87 beats per minute. And the drum break is 137 beats per minute. So this book does have the main groove here. Or he said he improvises on this basic 2-measure phrase. And what I like about this book is that the transcriptions are good. Overall, they are good. But what I want to talk about and why I'm calling this Drum Secrets is because there's some stuff that gets missed often, most of the time, that I've discovered from the stem splitter and just from listening to it really closely. So, like, let's see if we can. Let's just spot check some, see what happens. So if you search Amen Brother on YouTube, let's just click. This is Mario Avila. Let's see how he does it. So he is playing along with the whole song, not just the break. So I can tell you he's missing boom, boom, the pickup to the 1 that's on most measures. So that was close. Let's try this. Drumeo. Okay, Drumeo is a great channel. I like Drumeo. Let's see. Hold on, let's give this guy credit. I don't know who that is off the top of my head. Who is it? Doesn't say. We'll get to it later. Okay, that sounded right, except my first point here is the left foot hi-hat going 1, 2, 3, 4, splash, chuck, open, close, playing quarter notes with the left foot on the hi-hat, alternating open, closed. And that makes it way harder. It's already hard to get this up to tempo. But well, let's see a couple more. Let's see if anyone does that. I don't do shorts. Okay, here's someone just looping it on the records. Let's do one more drum cover here. This is Uwe Peterson. Or Uwe, maybe. Looks like it's in slow motion. Come on. Here we go. See the hi-hat? Nothing. And that's the way it is in the breakbeat Bible. There's no left foot part. Now, I don't know if that's just an oversight or if he figured it wasn't that important or maybe he thought it would be obvious and you would just know. I think most people don't notice it. I didn't notice it until I did the stem splitter. And it's easier to hear on the A section. Let me make sure this is... I can hear it, although it's difficult to hear. So here's a good technique you can use to isolate certain aspects of any instrument, but in this case, the drum set. So I'm going to pull up an equalizer and watch what I'm going to do. Well, I'll tell you first. I'm going to try to find that hi-hat frequency. I think it's going to be in here somewhere. I'm going to try to get rid of the highs and the mids and the lows, the upper highs, I think is where the ride is. The ride is on top of the hi-hat frequency-wise. The snare is going to be in here. Bass drum is around here. And everything overlaps, so it's hard to really isolate it, but the equalizer helps. Watch and listen. Okay, I'm doing the wrong channel. It's all right. Let's try it again. I had the wrong channel highlighted, so that was doing nothing. It took me a while to notice. There we go. So it's hard to separate it from the ride and the snare especially, but I'll bypass the EQ and then put it back and see if you hear the difference. It's peaking my speakers now. Turn it down a little bit. You hear that? Hopefully you can hear that over them. I'm just using my iPhone, so we'll see how the quality comes out. But that's the first thing that, from what I've seen, I would say 90% at least of all the YouTube videos and tutorials, covers and tutorials on YouTube, as well as the Breakbeat Bible, do not have that left foot quarter note. 1, 2, open, close. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going, I don't want to say throughout the whole song, but I think most of the song he's doing that. I mean, I'm pretty sure he varies it sometimes, but if you listen to this 8 measures here, it's going the whole time. Okay, so now I think that, what's his name? The Winstons, Gregory C. Coleman is the drummer for the Winstons. I would guess that wasn't difficult for him at the time this was recorded. It might have even been harder for him to play this groove without having the left foot going, because a lot of times drummers will use the left foot hi-hat more so to keep themselves tight with themselves rather than to be heard by the audience. Of course, you should be able to hear it a little bit, otherwise it's kind of pointless. But I mean, most people don't notice it, so it is one of those what people commonly refer to as felt but not heard type of things, which I think really means you hear it subconsciously. Oh, I have my recreation, my 808 recreation down here. Okay, so that's the first point. The second point is the bass drum and the snare drum are together on the ah of 2. 1 and a 2, yeah. And the way it's written in the Breakbeat Bible is alternating. So in the first measure, the snare is on the ah of 2. And in the second measure, the bass drum is on the ah of 2. And I'm not saying that's wrong. He probably does do that sometimes. But at least in this 8-measure chunk, which is the beginning of the song, I think all 8 measures have both together, the bass drum and the snare together on the of 2. So let's listen for that now. So this, I think this is the EQ that I did already that helps emphasize. I'm going to emphasize the bass and the snare and try to get rid of the ride. I'm going to make it maybe a 1-measure loop. Let's try half a measure. If I can get this right here. Let's see if I can make it 1 beat. I think it's slightly off there. Let's make it 2 beats. Oh, wait a minute. Where am I? I think it is there. It's hard to hear it. Okay, so I'm sorry. It's not every measure. It's not the first measure. Let's try the second measure. There it is. There. All right, so on the of 2, which is right here, bass and snare together. I'm going to slow it down to half speed. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong spot. It's this one. Right there. That one. There we go. So now, sorry, I forgot measure 1 is different, but I'll put it back to the 8-measure chunk, and I'll leave it at half tempo with the equalizer. Where'd it go? Like that, I think. And just listen for that of 2. I think 7 out of 8 of those measures have that bass drum and snare drum together on the of 2, which is missing from most, if not all, the tutorials and covers that I've seen. And again, it makes it much more difficult than alternating. Measure 1, snare drum. Measure 2, bass drum. That's already difficult to get it up to this tempo. These doubles, fast doubles, are quite difficult to play at this tempo. But he's doing it. He can probably do it all day. Now, with any recording, there's always the possibility that it's been sped up. Now this is, was it 1969? Yeah. In 69, I do think they had the capability of speeding up the record. And I think often it would happen by accident if one tape machine played it a little bit differently than another. That's why a lot of old albums are a little bit out of tune. And I think they did have the capability of doing that intentionally. I do not think it was commonly done. But it could have been done, I think. So it's possible that he might have been, let's say, a minus 10%. Maybe he was playing it more like this. Or let's try minus 5%. Here's regular original tempo. It's a pretty difficult part. Excuse me. So high level of coordination and incredible time feel necessary to keep, especially to keep it going for an extended period. Okay, the third thing that most people don't notice, or at least don't talk about, is the slightly swung 16th. Let's go back to the Drumeo tutorial real quick. And see if he swings the 16th notes. Where'd it go? So it was, I think they have more than one video about the almond break. Let's see.
That's the bar 1, but it works for bar 2 as well. So let's see if we can do almond break. I hope you enjoyed.
Actually, I'm just gonna go back to the beginning where he just plays it real quick. Maybe they're slightly swung. I think they ought to be a little bit more swung. Now, when I say slightly swung, 16th notes, I'm talking about the 16th notes are in the bass and snare. He's playing quarter notes on the left foot hi-hat, eighth notes on the right hand ride cymbal. So all the 16th notes are in the left foot, the left hand snare and the right foot bass drum. That's where you're gonna hear the slightly swung 16th notes. So I'm going to go back to, let's just take measure 2 and slow it to half tempo again. And see. Actually, I'm going to make it a 2-bar loop just to make sure we're hearing the of 4 as a pickup to 1 of the next measure. Boom, boom. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take just that ba-boom, boom-boom, ba-boom, boom-boom. And I think the ba-bump are closer together than the boom-boom. Ba-boom, boom-boom, ba-boom, boom-boom. I'm going to exaggerate it to show you what I mean. So these are even 1E and a 2E, and bump. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4. Bump, 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 bump. Bum, bum. Now 1E and a 2E and a 3. Bum, 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 bum. So if you have a 4 16th notes in a row, the ones these two are going to be farther, if you're swinging them, the first two would be farther apart than written. And then the second two would be closer together than written. Or if you were to continue this pattern, the E's and the U's are later and shorter than written. And the numbers in the ands are longer than written. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Now that was a triplet type swing. It's not that swung, but it's not completely even either. It's a little bit swung. Now if I stretch this out, let's see if we can actually see that this, well, it's hard to tell which is the bass drum, but let's see. This, yeah, you can actually see it visually. That those two notes are closer together than those two notes. Let's see if you can hear it. I might have been looking at the wrong note now that I'm trying to find it in the loop. It's hard to tell what's what when you're just looking at the graphic. Also, sometimes you're not looking at what you think you're looking at, and the graphic isn't perfectly accurate sometimes. Especially if you're looping a little tiny chunk, sometimes it kind of glitches out a little bit. That's why I backed up a little bit. See, this is the pickup bass drum, but when I try to start there, I'm not really hearing it. So I'm backing up a little ahead of it. Try to at least make it a 2-beat phrase. So I'm going to tap 16th notes along with it, and I'll try even, triplet, and then what I think it is, which is in between, closer to even, but not completely even. One E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... I'm pretty sure it's a little bit swung. Now this is probably coming from the jazz tradition of actual swing music, the dance music that was popular in the decades prior. That most funk, R&B, hip hop, blues, in addition to jazz, actually most rock is slightly swung. This is a side note, but I'm going to open. Let's try it. I just thought of Paradise City by Guns N' Roses. Most people probably don't think of Guns N' Roses as a swing band. But if you listen to these, this is the main riff of the chorus of Paradise City. No, the verse, pre-verse. Something's not right there. I think I have it EQ'd weird. Why did that sound so weird? Oh, there's a holdover of the whistle. That's what I was hearing. So try to ignore that whistle. Now, actually, in this case, it's mostly in the guitars, and including the bass guitar. Let's just isolate the bass guitar because he plays so clean. There's a lilt to it, an unevenness that gives it that groovy feel. And I think if you listen to the intro, you actually hear it in the eighth notes. The eighth notes on the drums are slightly swung. I swear. Oh, sorry. Forgot to unloop it. I know this isn't Amen Brother, but I'm just talking about how most music is swung. But a lot of people don't realize it. And those ands are late. Like jazz. 1 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. It's not a triplet swing, but it's not perfectly even. So let's go back to Amen Brother. And I know this is getting to be long. I thought this video was going to be 5 minutes. Hopefully it's still interesting. So I recreated this 8-bar drum groove on the 808, mostly so I could just isolate each part better than I did with the EQ. So just to review, and now this isn't working. Part by part. There's the ride cymbal part. And I just have those at 103 value, which is, I'd say, mezzo forte. But I do also have it dropped 5 decibels. So sometimes you want a harder attack, but you still want it mixed lower because the sound changes as you change the value. So this is the left foot hi-hat part. And I have this also at 103 value, lowered 12 decibels. That's the point number 1 I was talking about. The chuck, or whatever you call it. Okay, here's the snare drum part. I tried to mimic those 8 measures as well as I could. These I have the value varying between 65 and 127 to try to get accents and ghosts. And just now listening to it, I think it should be swung more. I have the E's and the O's 20 ticks late. And a triplet would be 80 ticks late. Triplet 16th note swing feel. So maybe they should be 30 or 40. Doesn't sound swung enough, but it's a little bit swung. Maybe it should be a little more than that. Here's the bass drum part. Is that right? 1 and 2. Yeah, it's hard to keep track of where 1 is without everything else. Now, I added a 5th part that's another bass drum sound, mostly just to accent the downbeats. Although the downbeats are already accented, this accents them more. There's the oh sound. Although I do have them, you can see how short they are. Still longer than the other sound. So here's the 2 bass drums together. I'm going to add the left foot part. Yeah, so it's hard to tell where 1 is. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. So you can see how the right cymbal kind of buries that left foot hi-hat part. And I'm exaggerating that with the mix to try to emulate the original. But you can, you can change it as needed. So here's the bass and snare. I have the wrong one highlighted. There we go. See? So you can hear the of 2 a little more clearly when I isolate the 2 parts. Right there. 1 and a 2, 1, 2, Oh, the bass drum is also swung 20 ticks late, but I might change it to 30 or 40. But it's kind of a pain in the butt, so I won't do it now. Well, I guess I could. You know what? Why not? I'm gonna swing. I'm gonna swing those suckers. Let's take the bass drum part, quantize. Well, just as an extreme example, I'll put it 16th note swung E. 16th note swing E is 80 ticks late, so this would be a triplet swing feel. That's 2 swung. I mean, not for anything. It's good. They're all good. They're all of these options are valid. But I mean, it's 2 swung to emulate the original recording. Let's try swing B. Oh, that's what I had it on before. So B is 20 ticks late. So let's try C. 16th note swing C. 40 ticks late. I think probably 30 is going to be right, and that's of course not easy. Although actually, I think they added this knob here that I haven't yet tried, but I think this is like the old school 80s drum machines that had a swing knob. And I'm talking when I was like 7 years old. I have been privy to this notion of more or less swing since the early 80s. There, it didn't tell you what it was. You just turned the knob until you liked it. And the one end of the knob, it had 2 even 8th notes. And at the other side of the knob, it had dotted 8th, 16th. So you kind of had to approximate if you wanted a triplet. But if you listen to like Heavy D and stuff like that, a lot of that has that type of drum machine beats with the swing turned up, maybe almost to dotted 8th, 16th. But not necessarily all the way. You put it anywhere in between, and I think that's what this knob is, but I don't want to mess with it because I haven't tried it yet. So I'm just going to try 40 ticks late. Sounds pretty good. I think it should probably be 25 or 30 ticks late because 20 sounded like not quite enough. Okay, I think that is good for now. Thank you for watching Drum Secrets Episode 1 featuring Amen Brother by the Winstons with Gregory C. Coleman on drums. And credit to all these YouTube channels we looked at. Drumeo, excuse me, Drumeo. What was it? Mario Avila, Uwe Peterson, and I don't think we did that one, did we? Oh, let's do one more. See if he gets the left foot hi-hat part. This is Kian Mi. Okay, he's doing something with his left foot. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell what he's doing because the crash cymbals in the way. But I don't think he's playing the sh. Looks like he's mostly playing on the E of 2 and 4, which is kind of weird. Well, at least he's doing something with his left foot. And wasn't there one more we watched? There we go. The results changed from the last time. Pretty sure. Oh, let's try it. I thought we watched one other one that I can't find now, but let's watch this Manuel Coromero. See if he gets the left foot hi-hat part. I think that's something. So I think there's a slight offset from the video to the sound, so it's hard to tell, but I think he's playing quarter notes on the hi-hat, which is better than nothing. But he doesn't have the open close, right? It's also not in the notation, so maybe these parts are just the left foot hi-hat sometimes is sort of presumed that you'll figure it out because it's often left out of transcriptions. So probably a lot of what you'll see in this series is me adding the missing left foot hi-hat part to a lot of these. At least for this one. I think next time I'll do still Dre or still DRE, however you say it. It is still DRE, but I usually just call it still Dre. Because I have a secret about that. Now, if this isn't a secret to you and you already know all this, please post it in the comments. You suck at drum secrets or something like that. Because I want to know who you are. I want to know who knows this stuff. All right, thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.